Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into one of history's absolute most chilling unsolved mysteries, the 1959 Dyatlov Pass incident. A puzzle so strange it honestly defies simple logic. 9 experienced hikers went into the mountains. None came out. We're looking at a true 65-year-old puzzle here. It starts with 10 confident university students, and it ends with a tragedy so incredibly baffling, it still sparks intense debate today. All right, let's set the stage and head into the frozen unknown. So here's how this timeline actually unfolded. Back on the evening of January 23, 1959, 10 excited hikers left Sverdlovsk, determined to conquer this harsh winter trek. Early on, one guy actually got sick and had to turn back. And that one single decision unknowingly saved his life, leaving the other 9 to press on alone. Eventually, when they completely missed their return date, terrified relatives practically demanded a rescue mission, a mission that ended up taking months. To put their environment into perspective, their destination was hundreds of miles from anywhere. We're talking brutal temperatures dropping way down to negative 30 degrees Celsius, that's negative 22 Fahrenheit, combined with winds that literally turn the mountains into an endless sea of snow. But here's the thing. Despite that deadly environment, they were totally fine, highly experienced. They spent their evenings just laughing around campfires, snapping photographs, and writing all these funny little journal entries. Seriously, there was absolutely zero sign that any danger was looming. But then they just completely vanished. At first, friends figured, hey, they probably just got delayed by a bad storm. But as the days dragged on and the silence got deafening, families pushed for that full-scale rescue. And that brings us to a chilling discovery. What the search teams found up there absolutely stunned everyone. The tent was still standing, okay? But it hadn't been unzipped. It had been slashed open from the inside out. And inside, they left behind their boots, their heavy winter coats, their food, their maps, basically everything a human being needs to survive in that kind of extreme cold. So instead of grabbing their gear, they literally cut their way out of their own shelter in a panic and just fled right into the freezing darkness. I mean, they stepped into negative 30-degree weather wearing basically nothing, like clothing, socks, and some of them were even completely barefoot. So obviously, we have to ask, why? Why would seasoned mountaineers abandon the exact thing keeping them alive? What could possibly compel them to run out into the snow completely unprotected like that? Let's dig into some of the baffling clues they left behind. Investigators follow their footprints heading toward a forest about a mile away. But here is the super eerie part. The tracks showed zero signs of running or panic. They walked. It's as if whatever scared them out of the tent was somehow even deadlier than the freezing cold, but they didn't sprint. About a mile out, under this huge cedar tree, rescuers found the first 2 bodies, next to the remains of a tiny, burnt-out fire. And weirdly enough, the branches of that tree were snapped off way up high. This really makes you think someone scrambled up there, right? Maybe desperately trying to spot their camp in the dark or trying to escape something unseen below. But it gets weirder when we look at the unexplained and devastating injuries. As the snow finally melted and they found the rest of the hikers, the autopsies revealed something truly shocking. Take a look at this contrast. Externally, almost no wounds. Just a missing tongue on one hiker, which experts mostly chalk up to natural decomposition. But internally, total opposite. Fractured ribs, massive skull injuries. Investigators literally compared the internal trauma to the sheer force of a major high-speed car crash. So investigators are just scratching their heads. What could possibly hit them with the force of a car crash out in the middle of an isolated mountain without leaving a single significant external scratch on their skin? With no clear answers, this naturally led to decades of wild theories. For over 65 years, people have guessed everything from avalanches to secret military weapons tests, escaped prisoners, and even, unknown cryptid creatures. But here's the reality. While each of these theories might explain a tiny piece of the puzzle, absolutely none of them perfectly answer the whole thing. That is, until we get to the modern scientific answer. In 2021, modern researchers actually stepped in and offered this highly researched conclusion. Basically, they think severe weather triggered this super rare type of slab avalanche. The hikers, hearing it coming, totally panicked and sliced their way out, thinking they were about to be crushed.
But because they fled without gear, they were just trapped out there by the brutal cold, trying to survive the night.
Now, impartially speaking, while that theory firmly grounds this whole event in natural causes, the debate is definitely still raging. A lot of people just don't fully buy it, mainly because some of those crazy internal injuries and the sheer force needed to cause them just seem way too intense to be perfectly explained by a slab avalanche. But ultimately, beyond the 6.5 decades of unanswered questions, what we really have here is a profound story. It's a story of incredible courage, deep friendship between these students, a desperate fight for survival, and, man, a very stark reminder of the unforgiving power of nature.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought from our source material. Did the mountain keep its secret, or have we simply not learned how to read the clues it left behind? It really makes you wonder, right? Did the mountain win that night, or does science just have a little more decoding to do? Thanks for joining me on this explainer.